Welcome to the moment you've all been waiting for, BOLDcast viewers. We are watching Orb. Unfortunately, we couldn't catch it while it was running due to a bunch of various problems that we were having, and because we weren't sure that it was going to be like popular or anything, but it's like all the comments we're seeing is that people want us to watch Orb. And it's, you know, after Apothecary Diaries, you know,
it's good.
we're
we
feeling
trust
really
your
good.
Recommendations again. You guys let us down like 50,000 times. We can't trust you anymore.
Let us down for like 4 years straight, but you know we're entering the 5th year now, and we're ready to try again. Foolishly, maybe it'll be another. You know, oh, well, I don't want to start it off like that. Just naming a bunch of series we didn't like. That's not a good way to start.
But this one won't be like any of those ones that we're not going to talk about.
No, but anyway, like I think we'll like this. It has the vibe of something that we'll like, and I don't even know what it's 100% about.
Me either.
But
it's called Orb. Seems kind of cool.
Based on, sometimes when people recommend stuff, you can tell, they're recommending it, you know, a lot of people recommend stuff based on just, oh, I really like this. And that's usually what it is. That's usually like what a lot of the recommendations we get are. It's usually just, oh, I really like this, so I want to like spread it through the internet and like make it as popular as possible so that it'll get like, I don't know, more popular. Maybe it'll get another season or something. And that's usually what people care about most. But in this case, you can also tell when people are recommending something based on your taste and based on not just for them, but recommending it for you.
Or that they want to see our specific take on it as reactors rather than just any general person watching it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we tend to be slightly more picky, or, you know, don't like some of the things that are really...
We just have a more we just have a different taste, I think, than a lot of people, and that, you know, it's served as well in some ways, but it's not for everybody's. But I think this has the vibe of something that seems like people picked it based on, you know, knowing us a little bit better, and that we might like it. And also we've just been on a streak of just like kind of just enjoying stuff a lot more. So I'm really excited to get into it. And even though I don't really know what it's about, is the first episode title is Heliocentrism. How about that? And it's orb movements of the Earth. So I imagine there's going to be some like astrology, maybe, or astronomy. Yes, I imagine, but maybe astrology or something, like, because, you know, just the Earth moving isn't a story. But if if you know the sort of the spirituality of space is usually something that I feel like stories want to focus more on. But I don't know. Maybe this will be different. I'm open to either. We'll see. Leave a like and subscribe. Check out Patreon for uncuts and check the pinned comment. Maybe it'll tell you how far ahead we are, hopefully, if I remember to do that. But yeah, we're probably ahead on uncuts on Patreon. Leave a like, subscribe. Let's go. Sacrifice. Talk of sacrifice right off the rip. Okay. Interesting question. I wish I could see what he was doing to him.
Yeah, is he like...
I wonder if is this a manga and they just censored that for TV? The Kingdom of P. Okay, so fictional world, but non-fictional timeline, I guess? Like 15th century, they're going off the timeline, but not...
Similar to Apothecary Diaries, like fictional, but like very... you know, giving you a slight bit of reference.
Yeah, you can kind of pick and choose on the history you want to stick to. It's a good soundtrack off the bat. There's peasants everywhere, and then this guy's like an aristocrat or something. I wonder if they're both go to the same school, because they have like these Japanese school kid uniforms, but they're like colored like a European kid.
Like school.
What? They're ripping off fingernails? It's Nanami.
この仕事についてから気づい知ってます？
Torture?
爪が剥がれると何が一番困るか。
物が持てなくなることだ。握力が出ない。
おお、学者さん。でも不正解。答えは激痛です。結局そういうシーンが一番困るらしいですよ。
It's very disturbing.
Why are they ripping off fingernails? What the fuck? Okay, I see. Little Galileo anime.
No.
知 どこですか？
お前らごとき支配できない。
あれ、もし力強い系ですか？はい、剥がすの時間かかるぞ。
たったの10枚だ。
You have a lot of other stuff.
めぐりさん、68枚。
They waited for it to grow back. Oh my god.
That's fucked up.
I wonder if Negri is alive or dead. Because maybe that's foreshadowing for like a super badass later.
The Earth. Whatever this planet's called. I see.
Close. That's really dumb.
No, that's apparently right.
よし、ラファル。
はい。
You're like
中心はもちろん地球です。
geniuses.
Ooh, world
ア
map.
リストテレス曰く、物体は
And we have Aristotle.
地上で物が常に落下するのは最も低い地点、中心にあるからです。
その通り。
Another thing is they show the map, which is really smart. Because now we know this is real life, right? Or no? Oh, it looks like almost like real life.
It's like similar, but not really at all.
Oh yeah, because I was looking for like Italy or like, and I thought
It's a similar shape. Like this would be like Europe and
yeah,
this,
yeah.
but it's
in Africa, but it's
not
not
really.
quite. So close.
It's like a Walmart edition.
Yeah, but
But
then
we know that it's a similar layout.
But then they mention Aristotle, so they're playing with the details a lot here, and so Aristotle existed, but it's a fictional world, and it's and we're still 1500, we're BC, so there's the church, so there's probably Christ, theoretically
it's a different
speaking,
church of something else.
But yeah, I don't know.
地上で物が常に落下するのは地球が宇宙で最も低い中心にあるからです。
その通り。さすがだ。
This is Dad.
光栄です。ポトツキさん。
His dad doesn't have the look of someone who's going to survive the first couple episodes. I'm just going to say that right now.
なんと大学に行くことになった。
University.
このご時世だ一握りだが32歳で進学とはもうなんかやばいの
Quite
で
impressive.
University where?
Is he gonna leave town or is
He
there
must
one
be.
in the city?
大学では何を
Rafal, I thought it was Raphael.
地理学
Astronomy.
もちろん
Theology.
学びたいと。
Right.
手の教学は全ての学問を
Is he putting on an act here because he's like way too smart?
おかげ言葉を論理的に読み解き、学べる学問こそが進学です。
He seems like he's like saying what he needs to say so that he gets the access to the information he wants. That's my theory.
ように信者の役に立つ学問を選びたいです。
Right.
素晴らしい。なんたる立派。
世界、チョレー。
Yeah, he's just saying what people want to hear.
大変申し訳。この世はバカばっかだ。かくいう僕も孤児として生まれ。
That's why he doesn't look like his dad.
貧困で不憫で脆弱と罪要素。
His frontal lobe is developing a little too fast.
その前にがうまかった。それもすごく。僕の心情は合理的に生きるだ。愛とかに代表される無意な感情な欲望に惑わされず、合理的なせれば、この世は
He's just like me for real.
Academic power fantasy.
Yes.
常に売るのだ。
And without the balloon tits like Classroom of the Elite.
で聡明で有力っている。いやー、大学すげえな、ラファル君。できちゃうぜ。いやいや、僕なんて。
Who else
こ
does
の君の
this?
ように単純な人はすぐ僕を尊敬してくれるかもしれん。まさに天才。いやいや、変じゃ。そんな。ってよりむしろ神。
that's too far.
Careful.
神
Oh, that's not his.
何言ってるんですかはなれません。発言を撤回してください。
発言を撤回します。
Yeah, careful.
ごめんなさい。
Yeah.
以後
Catholic schools don't fuck around. You're lucky he's a priest or something and not a nurse or not a nun. She'd fucking whip you, put you in the chokey.
ああ、そうだ、ラファル。それは製氷か
お、はい。昨日は初めて6観測できて興奮しまし
Sixth
た。
magnitude star.
そうか。それをやめろ。
え？
すべての時間を進学に割くんだ。
Right.
天文はやめろ。いいな。
かしこまりました。
Oh, like,
よし。で、頼み事だが、知人フベルトの身柄を引き取ってほしい。
異端者として捕まっていたんですよね。禁じられた研究とかで。引き取ってよろしいのですか？
改心したから釈放される。というのも敬虔な信徒の証だ。住まいも私の別宅を。では、頼んだぞ。
Wow. He's really moving up in the world. He's getting like all this responsibility.
but he clearly is just like, oh, I'm so smart. I'll just tell them that I'm going to study theology. But then
Yeah.
in my like copious amounts of spare time, because I'm a genius, I'll just
Do
what
whatever
I
I want,
actually want. But then it's like, oh no, maybe they're going to be watching me a little bit more closely than I anticipated.
Yeah, it also feels like there. I mean, it doesn't just feel like this is kind of what it's about. It's like well, in real life they were. In real life with Galileo, the story goes that they didn't care about the truth. They just wanted control. And they just, that was more, that's kind of the idea, or that's an interpretation of that kind of story, at least, like they had their thing and it's just more about the church being right than it is about actually finding out
The facts
of what's going on. But being that this is an anime, I'm just going to throw out the random, Carson speculation that, maybe they already know the truth and it's that kind of thing, and they're
like hiding
they're hiding something. Like that's what it feels like more. It feels like because they're like, okay, you only can study this rather than study wherever you want. Just don't say the wrong thing. Like that's more what the church was kind of concerned with. It, again, as someone who's not a fucking historian or anything, but yeah, it feels like maybe the plot's going to go more in that direction, where there's a lot of knowledge that is being kept from the people for control, not necessarily ignored or, because it's different to know knowledge and keep it away, and gatekeep it versus prevent spreading of knowledge and destroying knowledge. It's two different methods of control that with the same intention, I guess. But I know, we'll see.
天文はやめろ。
当たり前だな。天文なんてやってる暇。いやいや、空のことはあんなのどうだっていい。
It's kind of a dingy thing where he started from the bottom. He doesn't want to.
一時は合理的な美しさがある。蓋を開ければ複雑とバラバラな星の集まり。
He's extremely smart.
続けるのは合理的じゃない。ずっと遠くの世界の話だ。どんなに背伸びしたって人間は近づけない。
I love that. Sorry, I'm pausing again. I really like that because his whole thing, like he just said, like it's all about rationality. That's his entire life. So what's rational about learning about the stars, really? Like as far as moving society forward, etc. I mean, like gaining any knowledge can be applied many different ways. All the math that we needed to discover or use and apply in different ways in order to learn all this shit about space has come in handy in other different ways as well. Or even just the pursuit of that knowledge has helped other industries and things like that. So in a way, it does have like a roundabout, rational, logical use and a reason to study it. But, as far as the time period they're living in, it's basically just fantasy, but it's front of your eyes. It's a very strange thing when you put it in those terms, it's something that exists and is out there, but is so far away and so much bigger that you can't actually interact with it. So from a societal or an economical sort of viewpoint, there's no real reason to try to interact with it because it won't yield anything, but it's still amazing and huge and visible. It's not like amazing in the way that, God might be. And because not something you can see. You can see the stars. You can't see God. Maybe they'll play into that. Fire?
Whoa. Oh my god.
Did he send him to go get him so that he could see what happens to a heretic?
I think this is just if you don't repent.
He's alive.
He's on the clock.
Is he like an inquisitor? Is that his thing?
すみません。ポタツキの義理の息子ラファフベルトを引き取りに。
ああ、はいはい。
What is this guy gonna be like?
But he's gonna have some super crazy knowledge about space. He's big.
It's super.
やば。なんだこの怪しさしかない人は。はじめまして、ポトツキの息子のラファウです。します。
私は君に利益を与えない。好かれようと作り笑顔なんてしなくていいぞ。
Just see right through him.
Just calling him out immediately.
Is this Kevin Pankin? Did I say that already?
I'm not sure.
聞いたぞ。
From
大学へ
who?
は
行くんだって。
い。これも支えてくれたみんなと神様のおかげで。
天文を学ぶのか。星を見るんだろう。持ち歩くなんて。
いや、これはただのたしなみで、そろそろやめようかと。進学を。
不純だな。
I'm surprised it took this long for somebody to call him out.
Yeah.
Honestly, with how obvious he is.
フベルトさんは以前は何の研究を？
Astronomy.
What do you think?
そのローマン観測記録か。
お、はい。にできる範囲。
見せてくれ。
ちょっと。
素晴らしい。
Wax tablet. That's
6
interesting.
等星まで見えていい目をしている。
でもそれ書きでうちにもっと正確なのがありますよ。
本当か。ぜひ見たい。
Oh
これ
God.
続けられる。
はい。もちろん。
Yeah, of course. Wait a minute.
Wait, I usually just
研究
go along with what everybody says, but
ね。
私は学者。誰に何を言われても研究を捨てるつもりはない。
配信していないのです。
like you, I just said what they wanted to hear.
嘘をついてこれからもバレないよう騙し続けるが。
You're not gonna fucking tell anyone,
なんで今
kid.
全部バカし
And then he drops the act because he's looking in a mirror.
君を脅迫するからだ。いいか、そこが必要だ。しかし私は目が弱い。だから君を利用する。二度捕まったら即死刑だ。私はやり残したことがあるから戻ってきた。には火にだって飛び込む。申し訳ないが拒否したら殺す。妨害したら殺す。言うことを聞かなきゃ殺す。天文をやれ。
This is an extremely interesting setup here.
Yeah. Bro's super old, can hardly walk, half blind.
I don't think
Still
he's
absolute
old.
badass.
I don't think he's old. I think he's just fucked up from torture.
いつもどこで観測して。
南東の丘ですが。
もっといい観測地がある。驚く。明日教えてやる。
失礼します。
Funny thing. What the hell is he gonna do now?
なんであんなのが野放しになってんだよ。火あぶり。
He was just doing basically what you were doing. So,
But the curiosity. This is kind of the point of no return.
walks into the darkly lit alley.
すごい。来てよかった。こんなにくっきり見えるなんて。
Well, now we're past it.
そうだ。
Yep.
ここは高度も高く視界も開く空気が澄んでるからな。観測にはもってこいだ。それとあの岩と山の位置がオリオンのベルトにいるのも気に入って、
はあ。
月が出たら観測しにくい。計算するから今のうちに記録を。
はい。こんなもんでしょうか。
I can't read it. It's too dark out here.
I told you I can't see very well.
すごい。短時間でこんなに大量に。
どうも。その記録、一体何に使うんですか？研究って一体何なんです？
I'm making a weapon to kill God. I mean, he kind of is in a way.
アリスタルコスを知っ
何ですそれ？
では宇宙がどういう形をしているか知っているか？
地球が中心で、すべての天体はその周りを複雑に回っています。
No.
ではそれを書いてみろ。
何でしょうか。難解ですが、前にプトレマイオスが真理を見
It's
つ
a
けて、
really complex little thing.
常識的に考えても特別なので、神様は宇宙の中心に作ると思いますが。
ではこの真理は美しいか？
は？
この宇宙は美しいか？
美しいかなんて個人の感覚的反応です。は関係ないですよ。
答えを避けているな。君は美しいと思ったか？
Hell no.
煩雑すぎる気はします。この宇宙像ではそれぞれの惑星が個別に計算上を持たないバラバラな動きは合理的には見えない。あまり美しくはない。美しくないのは残念ですけど、そもそも宇宙全体を表せる一つの秩序からそんなこと問題にしてもしょうがない。
いや、大問題だ。宇宙に行きたくない。
そんなこと言ったって美しさで理屈をないがしろにしたら本ですよ。
But what if they were the same thing?
あの星が動いて太陽が昇る限りね。
ではもし太陽も星も動かなかったら？
いや、さすがにそんなの成立しない。
成立する。
じゃあ今も動いているのは何なんです？
Us.
地球だ。
Obviously.
そんなわけ。
Wait just a goddamn minute.
そうだ。太陽が昇るのではなく下るのだ。毎日朝が来る。地球が自らの軸を回る自転をしているからだ。宇宙では地球は2種類の運動をしている。
It's just like
He's stunned.
これは太陽は静止し、惑星は連鎖して動き、宇宙は一つの秩序に塔が覆り、境界は激怒し、美しさと理屈が落ち合う。これが私の研究だ。それを地動説とでも呼ぼうか。
何度でも何度
hear the OP song.
What an interesting start. I feel like, we didn't really know anything about this show, other than that people recommended it. But I feel like this is not really what I thought that it was going to be, but it's very intriguing. As a starting point, because we have like the whole thing of the church just being like super intense, and if people are like researching anything against them, they like drag them into the basement and rip off their fingernails and torture them and like try and get this information. But then we also know that because of the like super devoted and like logical thinking and studying theology, they have made super elaborate and still accurate accounts as to how the Earth would be the center of the universe, which is, I think, kind of different than real life. Like, I don't think it ever, like, I don't know if they ever made like specific crazy
I think they did.
maps. Oh, maybe, I don't know.
There was like an ongoing kind of argument about it, I'm pretty sure that, I don't know. I don't know if I've never seen like a Mandela-esque effect like that.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think that, everything spinned around the Earth, and there, the things were like, we could see different planets and stuff like that, and yeah.
No, I mean, like that definitely was. I'm not sure if in real life that there was such a like dialed in and accurate, like everything moves in this exact way, and it's all like.
I think it was.
Oh, okay.
I think it was. I think that part's true. It's just going over the basic stuff, because I think that I think the show, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think the show's, the whole point of it is to give everybody a base level of knowledge, even if you I mean, maybe you're from a place that doesn't have great education, but you want to watch this anime about all this stuff. So it's kind of educational, kind of like, but it also, who knows what details people know about all this kind of thing. Just to certain audiences, all this stuff seems obvious, but I think that I think those details are from the whole debacle regarding heliocentrism and stuff. But yeah, I like that. I like the whole concept of the show. It's really cool.
This whole I do kind of like how we get the main character. He's introduced. He's a little bit like. Normally, I don't really like main characters like that, because it's just kind of like, okay, you think you're so slick, you're, like, better than everyone else just because you, like, are smart enough to have to, like, crack the code and then have people believe you. But the fact that within the first episode, he immediately gets called out, and then we also see that because he is so passionate about something else, he's allowing that to cloud his judgment, but not in, like, a way of, like, he's super hungry for more power, or he's, like... Yeah. I'm gonna climb the ladder even more.
I'm gonna destroy the church.
I'm gonna kill everyone. It's like he's he's just passionate about his thing, and he wants to know the truth.
Yeah.
And he's super like he knows that this is really dangerous, but his curiosity is what's driving him, and I think that makes him a much more interesting main character that I want to see his story, rather than just like, oh,
it's psychological power fantasy.
Exactly.
Yeah, like a Classroom of the Elite type thing. And we didn't make it that far into that show, so I guess it's not fair to use it as an example. But with that kind of story, it's like the drama, the fun from a character like this, like Rafal, is it. He says one thing and does another. He thinks one thing and does another, and it's not even he talks about people are idiots or whatever, and this guy, my classmate, he's just a complete moron. But I don't get the idea from him, and maybe it would be different if we spoke Japanese and could get the subtleties of the language a little bit better. We're pretty decent at stuff like that at this point, but maybe there's something that we're not getting. But from my perspective, it doesn't seem like he's prideful about being smarter than them. He just is using it to get what he wants and to live an easy life because he grew up with nothing. Like, because he sort of somewhat recently came into all this stuff. He knows what it's like to live on the streets, and he's found a way to make his intellect work for him. So he's more just exploiting the weakness of the people around him than he is, pridefully shitting on them and like getting an ego boost because of it. I get that kind of idea, and I think that helps a lot with stories like this. because it wouldn't be it's not fun when the guy is not or when the guy is acting kind of self-aware or is just kind of a master of his world instantly, you know, when the whole point of when the character's designed, the main character is designed to be a smarter than the average person sort of guy. The first thing that usually happens is everyone else is way more stupid than they're basically dumbed down, and he's surrounded by a bunch of idiots because maybe the author isn't actually that smart, or they're trying to make it's a power fantasy, so they're trying to make the audience feel kind of superior. They give them like a sense of superiority over the people around them, and you can kind of immerse yourself in this guy who is smarter than everyone around him and like, you know, keeps a low key, and you know, people just haven't figured out what's really good about him, or you know, what his real story is. So he kind of flies under the radar to stay out of trouble. And it's kind of like romantic in that way, but it's foolish because that's not how real life works. In real life, it would be more like something like this, where he, you know, maybe varying degrees of pride or whatever, but he's more just doing what he can to move up in the world and stay on this sort of like this house of cards that he's found himself on. He doesn't want to rock the boat too much. But he does have like an innate curiosity, and there are and the thing that this episode tells us and separates it from the sort of examples that I was bringing up is it seems like there's going to be a genuine danger for him. It's not just going to be, you know, a bunch of brutish idiots who are like, you know, just not, who just fall into his traps, you know, because he's so smart and he's so awesome, and then, you know, whatever, there's like a cute girl that he can like be with or something. It's not like that. That's not the point of this story. It seems like it's going to be more, he has to sort of negotiate this, this curiosity with this logic, and they seem to be the same thing, but he's also going to have to like keep under the radar and stuff like that. I don't know. I like a non-self-indulgent, intelligent main character. I think that's what it is. When the character is either self-indulgent or the series is not aware of that of the self-indulgence, or they're made to satisfy the audience's need for that sort of self-indulgence. Like, because you know, people watching, because like they want to feel powerful, they want to feel smart, they want to feel this or that, they feel underappreciated in their life, so they go to series to kind of escape, where they can, you know, be this smart main character who's like better than everyone around them. That to me is really boring. What's really interesting is when they are just, you know, just people, and they have a conflict within them, and they have things that they want to achieve and things that they want to find, and it goes against
things that they're like willing to potentially sacrifice.
Yeah, we're gonna see this kind of like going between what he's willing to do, what he was not willing to do, and I think that now, especially now that he's getting a better idea of how everything actually works, and that there's this sort of this perspective that's being pushed down. He's going to be taking more risks, and that's where it gets interesting, is when they have to take more risks because of something they genuinely care about. That's an active character, so it's really cool. Yeah,
good first episode.
I like the whole vibe too.
Yeah, the vibe is good. I'm interested to see, because like this episode is like very much like the setup. I'm interested to see like within the next couple to see like what, you know, where it's going to go, what's going to be like the episode to episode vibe. Is it going to be slightly episodic where we like discover something new about the universe every time, or is it going to be you know, he more of like, you know, he's learning with this guy, but there's like the danger is like ever encroaching, you know, like I'm not sure. Based on this first episode, I feel like there's many different directions that something with this kind of setup could go, so I'm interested to see, you know, how it's going to end up playing out.
And no random female character, which, you know, I'm not saying that like, oh, no female representation. It's that there's not, in the first episode, there's often a tendency to try and hook the audience, and a lot of shows will try to like put a waifu in there just randomly, like there'll be some washerwoman or some like
the barmaid,
barmaid or
the girl next door,
or like a hot
kinda.
nun at the Catholic school or something like that, like a hot
Yeah.
sister, something like that. Because obviously they're in school and this is 15th century, so it's all boys that are all like learning more hardcore things, like about theology and everything and history and stuff like that. It's like a male pursuit. So I'll be interested to see how female characters are worked in, if there's going to be any. It'd be interesting if there wasn't. But yeah, series will often really put a random focus on just like a fucking girl when the story, because this is a story that doesn't, it had like, so far in this first episode, there's not really a place for a female character to reasonably be as like a focus of a character, unless they like took a backstreet. It was very focused
plot line.
Well, maybe there will be something, but I'm saying like this, each scene by scene, it's like guy torturing another guy. They're in a closed room together. Classroom studying history and like academics and math and stuff like that, or astrology. So it's all boys. Then he goes to a castle gate. There's the guards. They're both obviously men because they're soldiers. And then the guy comes out and he's he's an astronomer or astronomy dude. And he comes out and then it's just them talking for like half the episode.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a place to interject that, but they could have if they wanted to, like, I don't know, have a hot barmaid or like a cute nun or something like that.
Yeah.
If they wanted to be dumb like that. But it's good because it shows me that they're not going to stoop to that level, it seems like. Because if they would have done it, they would have done it in the first episode. Maybe they'll do it later just to kind of spice things up a little bit, but that's different. They're not like trying to...
Oh, my story's not interesting enough. Here's a girl.
Yeah.
That's not even well written or like has anything going on. Just...
On the other hand, there's something like Apothecary Diaries where like most characters are female.
Yes.
And there's a big focus on sex because that's a part of the story. But this is not a story that's seemingly focused heavily on sex and women and like, women being property and being traded and stuff like that. Like the concubines and the courtesans, they have a similar role just in high and low class society. It's a big part of it. So there's a lot of girls with like open blouses and stuff like that. And it's anime like waifuism, but it's for a storytelling reason that they look like that. And it has, even though it's like supposed to be titillating, it has like a tasteful kind of element to them, even though they're like literally presenting themselves as sex objects. And it's a part of the story, it's a part of the aesthetics, and they're still characters in spite of that or within that. It's a big part of that story. In this, it doesn't seem like they're going to stoop to that level when they don't need to. Not that you're like stooping to level. That's kind of undoing what I was saying. They're not going to go into that.
That
anyway,
is
yeah,
not...
we already said it. Yeah, but I like that. It's promising. That shows promise that a lot of other series would have. A lot of, they would have just given up and like tried to do something like that anyway. Good shit, and I'm super interested. I'm super interested. Leave a like and subscribe. See you next time, Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye. Welcome, everyone, back to another BOLDcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is OrbCast on the Movements of the Earth, episode 2. Leave a like and subscribe. Check out Patreon to get ahead, uncuts, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a similar thing here to like Apothecary Diaries, I think, where we're like way ahead of where we are on YouTube. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Let's check it out. The show's really good. Let's see where it goes.
You sure?
だが3つ目には反対だ。 は命を張る場面でこそ直感を信じる。
だったらどうするんですか？
構わない。不正解は無意味を意味しない。
無意味を意味しない。正気ですか？僕は地動説と思わないし、証明のために火にも飛び込まない。もう来たくない。
But you will.
Or else.
では、明日も頼んだぞ。
ほら、わずかだけど今だってこの空は確かに動いてる。1時間もすりゃはっきりわかる。自転一つ取ってもありえない。
He gets the idea from like falling like that. Wait a minute.
僕いきなり山がひっくり返ったかと。
Wait just a goddamn minute.
でもそれは僕が動いたからで、実際に山が動いたからじゃない。そんなことは当たり前だ。でもこの当たり前を延長したら、僕が地球で山が太陽なら、観測者が動くなら停止した対象も動いて見える。
But how do you explain the ice wall?
自転してるかも。いや、100歩譲って自転してたとして、好転なんてしてる。
I know, I know that it, it's going through the motions of this, and I think that he'll end up like getting to where kind of we are. But it's just funny seeing somebody like slowly, like one of his arguments was basically like, I mean, it would just cause too many problems. Like, and it's just like,
his, like, as if the like diagram of everything, like, as if that isn't like way more complicated.
It's just as complicated. It's just from a different perspective. Like, it's not, but the thing is, it seems simpler because they have an explanation already like done out and already like all this history about it. So, it's, I don't know. It's just funny seeing somebody go through all of it like, oh, but it's preposterous because otherwise, like, we don't have any reason to believe that. But it's just like, it's because we haven't researched it. So, but we've researched this other model. So yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of funny.
いや、こんなのふざけた異端思想だ。単に間違ったデタラメだ。それどころか捕まる危険もある。追い求める理由がない。
だった惑星は連鎖して動き、宇宙は一つの秩序の統合。
すべては連鎖して調和してる。全宇宙が一つ動く。全部嘘だ。惑星はバラバラなんだ。
You better clean up those pieces of paper, my friend.
Yeah.
そうじゃ。あんな巨大な点が一つの
Oh, look at him
発想
go.
でこんなに合理的に動いてしまったら、この説を
Let him go.
美しいと思ってしまう。
Except not quite like that, but sure.
合ってる。
ここ数日、さらに精度が上がるな。
A little time skip.
何かあったのか。
Imagine reading in the dark. It must be bright for them.
フベルトさんはなぜ危険を冒して天国を捨ててまでしてるんです。
Just for
神を
this.
否定したいのです。
逆だ。神を信じるかな。
Being closer to truth is being closer to God.
人は皆、醜く、貪欲で汚れていて、あの世は清く美しいという。だが、私はそんなのは認めない。神が作ったこの世界は、きっと何よりも美しい。
True Christian, true
そ
believer.
れを知るのに、盲信も金銭も地位もいる神の偉業を理解してみせる。故に、私は聖書ではなく、自然を読むのだ。
そんな人生怖くはないのですか？
怖い。だが、怖くない人生などの本質を書く。
The truth is out there, Raffle. Rafflecopter.
観測は今日で終わりだ。
え？
一人で続ける方法を見つけた。
では僕は何を
Whatever you want. I don't care.
The choice is yours.
君の自
Just gonna keep doing it.
だが本をやれ自分のために
You can't just plant a seed of doubt in people and then run away. What the fuck, man?
今までありがとう
I wonder what he found.
I don't know.
Or if he did just want
Or if
to.
he just wants to inspire this kid
Yeah.
and then leave.
If he was gonna leave anyway, but then he sees this kid, he's like, oh, this kid's sharper than I thought. Maybe it would be worth it to
何だったんだ
inspire him a little bit.
専門をやれってそんなのできるわけあ音月さん
Uh-oh.
なんでいるの
Oh. He's getting arrested.
おーい
Oh god.
Oh, Jesus.
君がラファル君。私は異端審問官。
Inquisitor, yeah.
フベルトさんの動向を聞き取りしててね。
そうですかフベルトさんはしてつつましく暮らしてますよ
おお、それ
Oh, careful lying to this guy. He
Yeah.
sees people lie every fucking day. He's got blood on his sleeves.
それにかくまった協力者も重罪だ。
Yeah, he sees right through him.
みんな不幸になる。
僕も愚かな異端は許せない
おお、それは心強い。
He sounds like he sees
そ
through
ん
him.
でさ、
Yeah.
What is this?
何これ。
Oh, God.
君の本棚から見つかって。
Yeah, bro, you just left this laying around.
さんには言ってない異端研究について。
Oh, my God. He's gonna have to blame it on him.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
何これ。
それは私のもの
No.
フベルトさん
バレてしまったらしい
Oh, maybe this is why he said he was leaving. He was gonna. He knew they were coming down on
で
them.
もフベルトさん
Yeah.
冷静になってくださいよ。その発言があなたをどこへ向かわせるか。
私はやり残したことがあるから戻ってきた
本当にこれはあなたのものですか。
もちろん私のものだそちらこそ冷静になっていただきたい私の研究が手伝えるとでも
いやー、それもそうですね。では、フベルトを連行しろ。
ちょっとそんな
そうだこれを君に渡しに来たんだ
Hmm. I'm surprised they let him give him that.
本当に
They don't know what it is.
Yeah. But
やり残
I
したことは
figured they would think it was suspicious.
たった今やったよ
そしてフベルトさん
Wow. Died.
焼かれて死んだ
Was burned to death.
Horrible.
Holy shit. Wow. It's all up to you, kiddo.
死んだ僕をかばって
Damn, that's
相手は
terrifying.
異端者と僕は何をするのが正しかったんだやり残したことってオリオンのベルトなんで中心のアルニラムだけ黒く
あの岩と山の位置がオリオン
Oh,
のベ
he
ルトと
hid
似通ってい
his
る
stuff
Mm.
in there. A long ass way out there.
No gear, no like water. Just in your fucking school outfit.
アルニラムを示す山まで来てみたものの何も
Oh. Hello.
Like the soundtrack. It almost reminds me of that one Hunter x Hunter soundtrack.
これは手紙この手紙を読んでいるあなたへ
ぶしつけな前置きでも誰だか知らないしかし最も信用のおけるネックレスを託すことに
You already got that
では
part.
本題に入る
He must have hidden all this
以下
stuff
の
like
私の人
a
生を
long while
捧げ
ago.
たさらに傲慢にも私より優れた人間に焼却されることを望んだ それがあなただ。あなたなら燃やせる。あなたの理屈はと強い。あなたならやれる。依頼報酬は箱に同封した。十分な額だろう。では任せた。
So he burns it?
まあしょうがないよな。
He's just gonna research it all
こんな
again.
手紙を残したのも理解できる。確かに地動説はすごいアイデアだ。でもあまりに危険で不適切で、何より不確かだ。なった決着のつけ方だ。こんなの燃やすしかない。
This reminds me of a scene of Breaking Bad.
僕の理屈は書物を燃やした。
Really, man? He's gonna burn it all. His life's work. He's gonna stomp it out.
Bro, put the lid on.
Well, I wish she didn't start burning it. Just like you just
It's
deleted
okay,
like
he can
30
start from
years.
scratch.
本校を旅立つ。しかし力は大学だ。みんな大学で何を学びか覚えてるか？進学通り。ではラファル、みんなにお別れの挨拶を。
はい。今までお世話になりました。みんなに神のご加護があらんことを祈っています。あ、それと僕は天文を学びます。この世はバカばっかりだ。でも気づいたらその先頭に、本当の僕は聡明でも謙虚でも有力でもなく、横柄で傲慢で力で、そして今から地球を動かす。
Damn. But what happens if you get burned to death? Could you imagine if this was like a JoJo thing? Where it's actually an anthology? He just like, we get 3 episodes in, he fucking dies, and then we just pick up his apprentice and just keep going.
What a nice
He's got a ball for a
guy.
kid.
ただ子供が泣いてちゃ無視できない。こう大切にな。はい。野爆さん、そろそろ。お。
Uh-oh. Are they gonna go to his parents? Yeah. Is his dad?
何をするつもりですか？子供が。
本当ですか。実は私の娘が、これが可愛くて仕方ない。娘からの手紙、いつも持ち歩いてるんですよ。あの子を思うたびに感じます。癒しと不安を。我が子への愛が私の生きる理由です。あの子には辛い思いをしてほしくない。だからこの世の平穏を生み出すような研究は正直私は世界や人類を守ろうなんて大それたことを思っちゃいない。家族、友人の日々の信仰や生活を守るためなら何だってする。
ただいま
Oh, his mouth.
Why did you guys just let the kid in there?
Teach him a lesson, I guess. Make sure he doesn't do whatever is going on.
Oh, like a heretic meeting place?
知らないのか。野爆さんは出家せず在俗でやってる。
It's just a guy.
死去遅れでいいや。
Interesting.
傭兵らしいぞ。傭兵。これだけで生殖を考えられない。なぜそんなことを言おうとすな。司教様にも訳があるんだろう。
I love, how could such bloody hands do the Lord's work? The Lord's work that he's doing literally just soaks his sleeves in blood every day.
Yeah, I wanted to say I really like how they're like the show or the series is pointing out the sort of elitism of the church, where that was kind of the like a part of it as well, is that they choose who gets educated, they choose who rises up. So you believe what they believe. Like the whole system of it isn't often as explored. Usually like religious zealotry or dogma is just like a fucking, they're just assholes, I like that the series is going into that a little bit more. So they like the idea that he's like a layman, he's a lay person because he's not a monk or or he's not celibate, he hasn't made like a vow of chastity or anything. It's, I don't know, I like that. I like that they're getting into the details of how the system like keeps other people down or other than who they want to go forward. It's interesting.
冗談だ。冗談なんだよな。
Oh.
進学をやめたどころか、よりにもよって天文を。フベルトがやはり異端者だった衝撃で気が動転してるだけだよな。私はこの入学許可書に
What?
しないぞ。
こ
I'm sure you can convince him.
こ最近の僕は前日行った急激な方向転換により将来が極めて危うくなっていた。正直に打ち明け、巧みに説得し、解決難の技だろう。
さあ、宣言。天文はやらないと。
というわけで、宣言します。天文は二度としません。普通に嘘をついた。
おお、息子よ。まともに戻ってく。
僕がアホでした。
Yes, I returned to my normal fake ass self.
言葉ではな、嘘ほど便利なものはない。培ってきた合理的判断力にトラブルは回避するのだ。
No, yeah, he just straight up did it. I thought that was going to be like,
そう、これでいい。
I thought he was just saying that's what I would have done before this or
後
something.
で天文に編入できる。大学に行けなくなる方が指導説を証明するには3、40年はかかるだろう。夢物語じゃない。地道に確実に進めるんだ。父さんはあれほど天文を毛嫌いしているのに、どうしてこの家にはこんなに資料があるんだろう。
Nice.
Good. What'd you think of that episode?
Man, can't believe, like, I guess it makes, like, sense that Hubert got killed off. But it's like, because I thought it was going to be him kind of, like, teaching him, and it was going to be, like, a whole story about that. But no, it was just getting him inspired, and then, leaving him to kind of sit on it and hoping
It's
that
a
he'll...
call to adventure, yeah.
Hoping he'll do, the right thing. And he burns all the evidence.
But then puts it out, so maybe he has a little bit of it or something.
Or at least he's going to be starting from scratch. And, maybe...
But he stopped the burning. He put it out, so there might be some left.
Yeah.
This was a manga, you have to remember. So,
Yeah,
like,
that's
it
true.
burned for 1 page or 2 pages, and then he thought about it and then put it out. So, how much or how little is burned is just, completely up in the air.
But he's still got to go back. Even if he has some of this stuff, there's probably some that's missing. So he'll have to kind of start from scratch. Regardless, which is maybe good, because Hubert thought, like, this could never be proven. But maybe, on the second pass, where the conclusion is very possible, but then you start and are like, okay, how do I rationalize this? Then you come up with it in a different way that could maybe be more easily explainable, or like you could tell it to someone and they would believe it with a normal person. But yeah, it's really interesting. I like Hubert's whole thing of, like, it's just, if God is so amazing, then surely, like, this model is really beautiful and makes a lot of sense. And just because Earth isn't at the middle of it doesn't mean that it wouldn't be, like, a fantastic creation.
That's what I never understood about this whole idea about the Earth has to be in the center of the universe, historically. Other than, obviously, the keeping people down is the more important thing, and this is just a way to do it. That's what I never understood about it. It's just like, how is the Earth being, because they already knew about other planets and other celestial bodies and comets and things like that. How does the Earth being the center make the Earth more special? Because isn't it more special that God created an entire universe around the Earth basically, and the sun is, or the earth is going around the sun and is the perfect distance away and is like spinning in the perfect way to like give it sun at the perfect times and move and change the seasons, isn't that just as intricate and much of a, like, the fact that it's all planned out and logical as well, like, it still fits within the idea of that God could have done it. But like, why does it need to be in the center of the diagram for it? Like, it's, we still technically are. It's like the sun exists to support the earth regardless. It doesn't matter if it's going around the earth. Why does that make it less important? You know, like, from a, I never got that. I think the answer is something that the show seemingly is going to be getting into, is that it doesn't matter. None of it matters. All that matters is that, you know, we control the information. We control how people see things. We are right, and that's what matters. And you know,
it's also like they don't want to go back on something.
They don't want to go back on their word.
Declares this is the truth, but then new evidence is brought to light that may not be the truth. They can't say, oh, this is not true because some guy discovered this, when God already told them that, like, this was the correct way, and then they told everyone else that, like, you know, if the church is fallible, then it loses its power. That's the real point of it. Because it's like, the church is supposed to be like the direct like, sort of representation of God. So if they're wrong, then it calls God into question, because you know, it's such a close.
I think it's the other way around. I don't like that's. I think you're thinking of the other way. I'm saying the other way. I'm saying that what matters isn't whether God is called into question or whether the model is called into question. What matters is that these people who control, who is educated, who is in power, who has access to riches and everything. You know, if you're calling God, it's not about calling them into question. Therefore, you're calling God into question. It's, if you're calling God into question, you're calling our authority into question, and all of this is a tool for them to control people. I think is the main thing. I think that's kind of what more it was in real life, because when you think about it, you just ask, like, does it matter whether the Earth is in the middle? No, it literally doesn't. It doesn't actually matter to a normal life, and it doesn't change whether, like, if from a theological point of view, it doesn't change God's power. It just changes how we perceive God's power. But if the manner that the people perceive God's power is called into question and people begin to have doubts, then they aren't just doubting God, they're doubting the church. And that's what really matters, because the church gets all the taxes, they have all the schools, you know, a Catholic school, they control all the schools, they control who goes to university, who gets to read, things like that. So if you want, that's what more it is. It's more about the control than it is about anything else. And it seems like the show is kind of respecting that, especially with this conversation between these two monks, or these two friars, or whoever they are. Because this guy was a mercenary, and he was taken in by the bishop, who was a very important guy, to carry out his plan in exchange for not having to be celibate, in exchange for maybe his daughter having a better life. Who I think we saw in the OP, and the fact that she's older, I think that's kind of how this is going to be. Maybe this episode, maybe after this episode, or maybe sometime in the next episode, we're going to have a time skip where he's like fully into university, and it might be 8 or 10 years later or something like that. Because then the daughter is going to be older, and maybe she will be interested in him as like a teacher figure, and he'll be able to like pass down to her. And maybe there'll be like kind of a feminist angle to it too, where because she's a girl, she maybe wants to learn about all this stuff. She's maybe inquisitive. This is my guess, is my speculation. And you know, women at this point didn't have access to education the same way men did. So maybe that'll be an element of the story as well. And then he'll have to become sort of the tutor, the inspirer, and put his life on the line to carry on this research. Because he says at the end here, it could take 30 to 40 years to prove it. I'm like, it might take more than that. Like, it's probably going to take longer than that. We'll be lucky. This is an anime, so it'll probably, you know, maybe in his lifetime. But I like that they set that up, that it could be a lifelong journey, and this series could go on the course of his life or longer. Because we just saw a guy who like had all this research, passed it on, and then you burned it and, set yourself back. And even if you research it, you're probably just going to find yourself in the same shoes as him, because the problem is not whether or not it can be proven. You guys have he had a wealth of research, and you guys can, we study. The way that it was proven was not with like fucking hyper telescopes and shit and like insanely powerful technology. It was just from observation and reasoning. So the problem isn't whether or not you can observe it or prove it or get evidence. The problem is the dogma. The problem is the system that is using this as a way to keep people in line. So I think that will be something that is likely explored maybe later, and I wonder how big a time skip it's going to be. But there's only one way to find out. Is there anything else you want to say?
I'm just, it's interesting with the time skip and how he said, I'll just go study theology and then I'll transfer to astronomy later. That also, like, kind of shows the time skip, because we're obviously just going to skip him studying theology, because that's...
I don't think we're going to necessarily skip it. I think what we might run into is that we're maybe going to skip to him trying to switch.
Oh, and then they're not want to let
well,
him.
because it keeps happening. He's like, okay, I have this, I want to do this, but I just say that I'm doing theology. And then he meets Hubert, and then he's like, okay, I'm going to do astronomy. That's my thing. And then they're like, no, you're not. He's like, okay, I won't now, but I will later. And then it seems like that it's every step of the way. And it just, how this keeps happening is they push you a little bit, and then eventually it just never gets done, and it's your whole life is gone.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're maybe going to run into next, where he's going to be like, okay, I want to transfer to astronomy, or there's something I've come in my research into theology. I need to study astronomy in order to prove this, this theory, or gain evidence for this interpretation of the text, etc. So I need to dip into astronomy. And then they'll be like, that's not allowed. And then he'll be like, oh, right, of course. Okay. And then he'll go do it on his own, get caught, have a close call. And I think that's going to be the sequence here until, for the next 30 or 40 years, or until he fucking dies. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I love at the end when he's just like, oh, this is my son that I know. This is you. This is so you. And he's just being so fake.
I wonder why there's so much astronomy books in this house.
Yeah.
Did he have the same thing? Maybe that's why he's pushing so hard for him to go into theology, because maybe that's what he did. But now that
he said that
he's
Hooper
a teacher,
was his good friend too. Yeah. That he knew. So yeah, maybe it
was like an Erwin and Niall thing in Attack on Titan. Where Erwin was like, I have a thing that I want to do something with my life. There's a truth that I want to find out. So he goes and does that. And Niall's like on his level, but he's also like, fuck that. I want to live my life.
Yeah, I don't want to die.
I'm going to join the military police and just have a quiet life. Yeah. And that's it.
It could be like that. Like maybe he's interested, or like maybe knows more than he technically should, but is choosing to not pursue that. And
maybe he sees Hubert in Rafal. Maybe he did from the beginning, and maybe that's why he took him in as his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe even more of an example of here's this guy who's studying astronomy. Look what happens.
Yeah.
But
maybe that's why he sent him there.
Yeah.
That could be why he sent him to pick him up in the first place, because he wanted to
be like, this could be you if you don't
smarten up. Leave a like and subscribe. Listen to Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye. Welcome, everybody, back to another BOLDcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Orb on the Movements of the Earth, episode 3. Sorry, it's been so long since we posted. It's been since March at this point, which is really, really bad. Things were just coming up, and then this just fell to the back burner, and then now we're back to it. So we hope you guys enjoy the reaction. Leave a like, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Patreon, thank you so much for your support. We hope you enjoy most of all. Anything you want to say before we get into it?
No, I'm excited.
Let's check it out, starting at 0.
そろそろ父さんの帰りか。さて、下書きは燃やした。
Oh, rough notes.
清書した資料はこの中へ。よし。だいぶ溜まってきたな。
帰ったぞ、ラーファル。留守か。
Oh no!
You didn't finish the job, you moron.
You who burns important documents without checking that they're burned all the way through?
これはまさか。
The only thing that he could do was just lie and say that it was the other guys and like he found it somewhere in the house. So he had to burn it before it could harm anyone.
He's gonna come back, he's gonna be missing an eye or some shit. Uh-oh.
これじゃあまだ天動説の方が。
ああ。
Nope.
君は先日の。前はすまなかったね。聞いたよ、君賢いんだって。学行くとか。
はい、来期から進学を学ばせていただきます。
おお、そりゃすごい。
少しでも立てるように善処します。では失礼します。
また。それ。
Last thing you want to hear from this guy.
そのネックレス、フベルトのものだろう。なぜしてる？
これは自戒です。異端への怒りと警戒をにするためです。
そうか。研究していた内容は知っているかい？
いえ、全く。
彼がしていたのは今の正しい宇宙の形、天動説に反するものだ。それが本当に関わっていないとか。
もちろん違います。僕は今の宇宙を信じています。
ご協力どうも。
では。
Out of the frying pan and into the fire over here.
I have a feeling he will continue to appear like suddenly like that from now on.
Honestly, you should have just taken that out of the house and burnt it at his like spot.
I wonder if he went to ask him because he already had his dad. Oh right, sorry. The last episode left off with why does he have so many books on?
Right. Oh yeah. I
forgot about that was the connection with all this. But yeah, sorry.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I forgot that was like the kind of the cliffhanger of last episode.
He's not gonna admit to anything.
No shit.
Smarten up a little bit.
ここらで一旦休んで大学が落ち着いてきたら研究を再開するか。
What does that mean? 何度でも。
私はなんてことを。あの計算を修正するなど。もし。
Oh my
You're
God.
talking out loud at the wrong time.
どうも。
どうも。
すいません。フベルトさんの事後処理で。
Why are you so invested, bro?
He smells something off around here.
あと。
はい。
いやー大変でしたね。フベルトさんってあなたの教え子だったんでしょ？2つですよね。
いえ、異端は異端です。それに山ほどいる教え子の一人に過ぎありません。
あなたに異端の前科があって、それがフベルトと同じ地味でも？
昔の話です。もう改心して。フベルトと研究の。
そうでしょうね。あなたの過去の研究を見たんでしょう。それにあなたは進学に転校したり、養子を取ったり、前科の印象を消そうと必死だ。
Oh, that's why he took him in?
二度目ないんでしょう。
I see.
二度も配信する輩には骨まで悪魔が取り付いちまってる。のためにも最も強力な方法で悪を払う。どうするか知ってますでしょう？
燃やすでしょう。生きたままで。
その通り。そのく 苦しみがどれほどなのか私は知るまで歯を食いしばってるやつとかいますよ。ほっかね。破りにおいてそんな肉体的苦痛なんて些細なことだ。あなたならその意味がわかるでしょ。肉体が灰になっちまうんだ。最後の審判で復活する体がなくなる。学者でも意見が分かれるところですが、私の考えではこうです。ズバリ無に記憶も経験も意識も魂も死後の世界も私はそんな運命はごめんだな。さて、あんたの子供
Oh boy.
しかしあんな子供がいたんとは世も末だな。
何を決めつけて証拠があるんですか？
No.
今はまだ。ただね、ポトツキさん、もし異端研究が行われていることを知った場合、あなたは終わりだ。早めに密告した方がいいですよ、証拠が出る前にね。しかもあの子は初犯だ。さらっと密告した方がみんな傷つかない。私からは以上です。
This freaking guy.
本当に初犯は死なずに済むんですよ
You
ね。
idiot.
You're fucking idiot. Ugh. He's afraid of what he'll face, so it's better he takes it, but they're both gonna get punished.
どうした？
この前の計算修正。あれはどう
ラファル。地動説は証明できると思うか？
はい。
Then he's gonna
Gonna
sacrifice
let him
himself.
cook.
He'll have to sacrifice himself and say that it was all him, and the kid is totally innocent.
詳しいことは
Probably you won't.
おはよう。
Oh my fucking
Holy
god.
shit.
すまない。
では行こうか。さて、明日から正式に拷問が始まる。
Oh my god.
これはまだ試作品なんだけど、苦悩のなしと言ってね。
The pair of anguish?
その通り、なしが開く。
Is it removes eyes?
こいつが口の中で4回転もすれば、頬は喋れなくなる。
Is that what happened to Hubert? He had like the scar across his face?
いかに効率よくされた道具がたくさんあるんだよ。誰も痛みからは2つだけ回避法がある。宣言しろ。そしてもう二度と天文に関わるな。資料のありかを明かしてその手で。
それだけですか？
ああ、俺だって子供を虐待。あとこれ君のだろ。大学の入試。
No more
俺は
university.
まだ有効だ。
Or okay.
進学で人生をやりな。この世で最も肝心な選択、何を諦めるか。君は賢いんだろう。正解を選べるはずだ。
It's just an interesting line coming from him. The most important choice you make in life
選択とは
is what to give up. I imagine he probably faced a similar thing. That's maybe why he's given them this. Maybe he gave up his innocence.
Like he gives up his his not torturing people every day so
Yeah.
that he never has to give up his daughter because the world, like, then all the bad people are tortured or recanted or burned to death.
I wonder if that's even part of his like thing, or if it's just his job and he like can secure her a better life because the church has all the schools, so maybe he's doing it so that she can go have an education.
Maybe.
じゃあ明日生まれ変わった君には会おう。
Jesus Christ.
宣言して資料を燃やす。まあ、やってもいいだろう。
He already just restarted from
こ
scratch.
の局面も多分宣言しても積んでない。資料を焼いても積んでない。積んでない。天文が禁止されても仲間がいなくてもまだ積んでない。積んで。なぜ僕はこんなことをしてるんだ。なぜ僕はこんなことになったんだ。
They're fighting for the truth.
こんなところにいるはずなかったのに。会わなければ今も僕は秀才のままでもてはやされて生活は快適で欲望されて行く先は希望に満ちて世界はずっとちょろいはずで僕はこんなことを地動説なんて何の意味も。あかり前にもこんなことあったっけ。あの頃と同じで僕が天文を続けるのは合理的じゃない。あの頃と同じで空はずっと遠くにある。窓はあの頃よりも小さい。
He's thinking about it even now.
でもなぜだ。今はあの頃よりはっきりと空がよく見える。こんなに美しかったのか。
飛行はなく太陽を中心にして回転しているとした地動説を研究していたことを認めますか。
はい、認めます。
被告の有料な成績を鑑み我々の要求を受け入れた場合許可します。その入学許可証を受け取りますか。
肝心なのは何を諦めるかを選べ。言葉では何とでも言える。この局面も何とかなる。
What if he like rips it up?
Could you imagine? But it's like if you can't get out.
Would he rather be tortured or lose his?
Yeah.
僕は地動説を信じてます。
Bro.
He would rather face torture than get rid of his documents.
なぜ
囚人でもこんなにいいものが飲めるんだ。
拷問前日に特別
He's sweaty. He really doesn't want to do this.
どうでしたか。一緒に飲みませんか。一人ではもう。
What if we just convinced this guy?
I don't know if
I don't think
maybe
he can.
maybe he could, but he has a greater desire. He has a greater reason to be doing this.
台無しにした。
敵は手強いですよ。あなた方が相手にしているのは僕じゃ異端者でもない。ある種の想像力である。好奇心である。それは知性だ。それは流行り病のように増殖するさえ制御不能だ。一組織が手なずけられるほど可愛げのあるもの。
では勝つのは君か。この選択は彼にとって正解だと思うのか。
そりゃ不正解でしょ。
Exactly.
でも不正解は無意味を意味しません。ところで消し飲みの効果。
消し飲み
Did you drug him?
No way.
割れてたようですが、それと毒
Or did he drug himself?
と苦しまずに死ねる。
Oh.
で、さっきそれを
Oh, he did drug him. No way.
そっちにじゃありませんよ。
He did. Yeah. This is gonna surprise him even more.
嘘だ。お前頭おかしいぞ。死ぬのか。
まあ、
Wow. Wow.
それに
What?
その選択肢に反してる。どこまで境界するんだ。死の先に恐ろしい運命が待ってるぞ。
誰も知りませんよ。ソクラテス曰く、誰も死を味わってないのに、誰もが最大の悪であるかのように決めつける。エピクロス曰く、我々のあるところに死はない。死のあるところに我々はない。生は 適切に活用すれば十分に長い。僕はその全てにさ。
そんなの2000年近くも前のこの言葉だろ。奴らには絶対死も救いもない。何になる。
感動できる。さんは死んで消えた。でもあの人のくれた感動は今も消えない。感動は寿命の長さより大切なものだと思う。だからこの場は僕の命に変えてでも。
What?
Damn.
Holy shit, he's awesome.
I thought this guy's just having a crisis.
He's a man without hope. He sees people get tortured and killed. He does it himself. He can't understand it. He's so far from it.
でもそんなのを言えそうです。ではそろそろ一人にしてもらえますか。
もうなのか。
ええ。ではまた。
What? He's just gonna fucking die? What?
For real?
He's just dead?
Oh my god.
No fucking way. Wow.
10 years later.
Somebody else is just gonna find it?
Really?
That's the end of his story?
もう少し登ったところだろう。
The fuck are these people?
They found his note. But like,
Who are these people? Are these his classmates? Liamia.
alright.
So he's dead.
I guess so.
I think I said something like that, like what if the whole story is, you know, because it's not something that's solved by one person. It's something that continues on, and that's
Yeah, I guess
and
I just
it's
would've thought
kind
that
of
you'd have
insane
a
that that's
little bit
actually
more.
a theme of the story. You know, it's not just a it's not just an interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like that's what the story is about. Is this thing that just keeps moving on despite you know the struggle.
Man, I didn't think that he was actually gonna die.
Crazy.
Even when he like said that he was like poisoning himself, I'm like, did he like somehow like big brain his way out of this, that he's like gonna fake his own death and then like escape or something? But I guess not.
It's crazy 'cause he just like, and they totally it comes out of nowhere because he's like,
Well, it's also like because he already.
he's like, could you solve heliocentrism? He's like, yes, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he dies. Like,
It's also just fucking crazy because he could have like not easily, like he always would have been at risk, but like he could have just recanted, burned all his shit. Like he keep in mind everything that is within that box, because he burned what was in
most of it, not
Yeah.
all of it. But
But,
he took
like-
it further, and he was
yeah,
revised.
but what I'm saying is like he still knows what he just did, like within the past few months, I guess is what I'm saying. Like he still would know how to get back to the point that he was at over the course of his life.
But it would just keep happening.
Yeah.
It would just keep, and I think he knew that it would just keep happening. So somebody else needs to carry the torch.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. It's honestly far more realistic. I'm actually really surprised. Like it's a realistic. That's how science is. That's how we've gotten to where we are today. You know, that's how we're watching this on a TV or on a monitor and recording and like posting to the internet and sharing these thoughts with so many people. Is, you know, it doesn't just progress doesn't happen with one person. It doesn't happen in one lifetime. It happens. It's the combined effort of the entire human race, and before some things get, especially when there's this kind of opposition from the church.
Yeah.
You know,
I love when the torture guy thought that he got poisoned. Like he was like, you know, freaking out about it.
yeah. He just can't.
Man.
I wonder how he's gonna play into this. Like, is he gonna be much older?
Yeah.
Is he still going to be around? Is he going to get promoted? Is he going to get moved to another city? Or is he going to actually come back? Or is just
see
a
his
full on?
daughter,
Is it just going to
or-
be a full on anthology where we don't even
Like, he's
really
not
see
even
him that much?
reoccurring,
Yeah. How much?
Yeah.
How anthological is this going to be? Every 3 episodes, are we going to get a new guy, and if somebody's going to die, and it's going to be a new story about how they take the research further. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
what's the structure of the rest of the show going to be? Or is this more of a prologue, and then we get into more of a
An actual,
core story?
which is interesting because we already had the old guy die, the mentor already died,
Yeah.
and then this kid already also died and then left a message for whoever found it next. I'm not sure. If
It was
he
10
knew,
years later. It must be his friends.
I guess so, but you'd have to be really careful because they could,
They could destroy. I mean, yeah, that's a risk you take. I think he knew all the risks because he almost burned Hubert's stuff as well. It could have just as easily happened to his stuff, but it's that's true faith is the thing. That's kind of the contradiction there, is that he is a heretic, but he also has more faith in death. He has more faith in the afterlife. He has more faith in the future than the church actually does.
Yeah, well, the thing is, he has faith in the truth.
Yeah.
So he knows that it's going to get solved eventually, regardless.
But my point isn't that he has faith. He does have faith, but he has faith, more than faith than the church people have. What do they actually believe in? They just believe in the system. They don't actually even really believe in it. They're afraid of it. His adoptive father was a priest, and he just was living in fear and didn't actually believe it. He was acting against it as well in secret. So ironically, the person with the most faith is the person who is acting against the people who are said to have the most faith.
Yeah, man. I'm interested to see where the story is going to go now with those guys at the end, what they want, or if they're even smart enough to, figure it out, basically.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Leave a like and subscribe. See you next time, Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.